Syed Mushtaq Hussain is son of wonderful parents. His father was an engineer who refused to take bribes and left India for Saudi. Little Naveed accompanied him, not knowing what's there in future for him. Later, he became one of the most successful Indians settled in the US. Welcome to The Matrix. Welcome Naveed Saab to our studios. Let me begin by asking you that you left India at a very young age. Where did you spend your formative years and where did you get your education from?
Okay. My parents always wanted us to get the highest education, and they put us in school that was established about 200 years ago, St. George's Grammar School. And I actually started with kindergarten, which is associated to St. George's Grammar School, that was called Golden Rose. And from there I went to St. George's Grammar School till 10th. Actually it was supposed to be 12th, but again the school was not the best for me, and I wasn't going to school from 7th grade to almost 10th grade, and went up. It was an ICSE school and was wanted to do SSC and move on with intermediate. So
what inspired you to become a doctor? You are a distinguished doctor in the United States. You are a neurologist, and I believe you're practicing from Chicago. Is it?
Yes, Chicago and Dallas. Two reasons. One is if you are in the early 80s, there are only two options for anybody at that time. Either you become a doctor or an engineer. And my mom always saw how hard my father worked in real sun and this and that, and she said, no, that's not something gonna be doing. So she was the one who made the decisions for all the three brothers. We are just three brothers, no sisters, so we all pursued medicine. And mom was the biggest inspiration, and my uncle, who was the best practitioner, he was the chief of pediatrics, and he used to have a big line about like half a kilometer trying to see him. So that also inspired me, because at an early age.
And all this happened in Hyderabad when your formative years?
Yes. Yeah. So till 10th grade, I gave SSC, and I passed in first division. I wasn't a problem. And then since then I cashed up with whatever I was left, and I was with my brother, who there's a story with my brother too. I was put in school at very early age, and I was used to say, why this guy is not going, why this guy is not going. So they also put him in school with me, and obviously the seconds are really smart guys. He ended up with me, and it's kind of became a competition. So I always try to keep up that pace with him. Alhamdulillah, it helped me.
Yes. So, and what fond memories do you have of Hyderabad during your early days?
Not except bunking school from 7th grade to 10th grade, and that's the best memories I have. And we used to not go to school, just jump off the wall just before lunch and get out with everybody in the lunch when the gates open, and come back when school closes, and never went a day to school from 7th grade to 10th grade almost. Every day we used to go different places. Sometimes we go see a movie, sometimes we go to public garden, sometimes there's a Nabat Pahad, there's a Birla Mandir there, we used to go there, and sometimes we just go to some other big building and just spend time on top of the building.
And apparently you must be having a lot of friends there. Did you have a group of friends?
Yeah, I have a lot of friends that are actually from my school in Chicago, and we still meet up with them, and discuss our school issues.
Okay. Apparently there was a shift in your interest, and later in your life, it appears that you moved away from your medical profession and you started setting up some successful startups. Please tell us more about it.
Okay, so there are two things. One is when I became a doctor, I never felt that, that I did anything, because Doctor is just like doing a 10th grade in India, because you have to do MD, DM, and which was impossible to do at that time. There were not many seats. So I went to pursue further studies in US, and I did MD. I did MD in internal medicine. I didn't like the way, the work and the you don't have command over anything as an internist. So I went into neurology, then I went into neurophysiology, some orthopedics, and I ultimately did even sleep medicine. So I specialize in few different specialties, and I never looked at to make money, because money was not a focus. My dad was making enough money even at that time to support us, and that's what I tell people: just pursue what you like to do, rather than don't get pressured on just to do something because you did something. You have to really, really like what to do. So I became a super specialist, and at some point I would charge $2,500 an hour, a minimum of 2 hours. So that's $5,000 minimum if I had to go out.
That's big money.
So yeah, that's a big money. So money, that's what I'm saying. If you look at money, you can only, the doctor over there, you can make $250 as a consultation. So that is a difference when you are top of what you can be,
And what was your specialization? Was it sleep?
No. I specialize in neurospine, actually neurophysiology is called, and we check the nerves, we check where the disc problems are, we treat those, we do a lot of pain management, epidural injection, everything that orthopedic does, except for surgery.
Yes, pain management is a growing concept, especially in India. It is catching up,
India and also Middle East is one of the places everybody is talking about. It's going to continue to grow because the way our lifestyle is, especially the phones, it will definitely cause problems in the neck and numbness in the hands and the back by sitting on the computers. So those two are going to be continuous problems, and there's a lot of things we can do to. Even the kids they're growing with bad necks, and so we have to do something about it. It's a big problem.
So is there a solution? How do we go about it?
The solution is, there are many solutions. First of all, the phones. You have to limit the phones and how you look at the phones, and how, all day, you have to, even the screen, you have to look at a higher level than a lower level. There's something called text neck syndrome, which happens by texting, and I see any teenager, I see 90%, 85% have that text neck syndrome. And it is bad, especially when you're growing up. You can grow with a hunch neck and have problems down the line, because
Since you're living in the US, is there a realization there also that these are the things which will trouble people?
Absolutely, they have realization. They do a lot of things to counter that, and over here, not many people are doing countermeasures.
You also mentioned about sleep medicines. That is also a new
concept. Yeah, that is sleep is some of the thing I really like to sleep. So I just had an opportunity to even complete that. So I did that. But again, sleep medicine, sleep is one of the most important factors in life. And to think about it, half of your life you sleep. And if you don't sleep on a proper bed, then you have problems with the back and all those stuff. Number one. Number two, I would even recommend sleeping on the floor. Number two, the amount of sleep and the time of sleep. I think that's the most important. You have sleep is in 4 stages, and you actually need last 2 stages, third and fourth, deep sleep, to really be restful. Otherwise, your mind doesn't rest. You'll feel irritated. You'll have headaches, and it is one of the things people are lacking, because either they spend time on the WhatsApp or whatever it is. That is becoming a big problem, especially the teenagers, and that will hinder the learning and memory. If you don't sleep well, you cannot comprehend well, and you cannot study well. That's what my advice will be: to sleep well, at least get 6 to 8 hours of sleep.
Yes, and sir, as your career evolved, you moved away from your medical profession and you moved towards the cutting edge technologies. Is that right?
Yes and no. I mean, I always did something. I never linked my medicine, my profession to making money. Making money is something that it's like a family thing. We have been business family. So even in residency, people don't do anything. I has two gas stations even when I was getting training. Residency is then when I was just finished residency, I had passion for the cars. I used to have dealership. What I looked at it, the money should help people, give jobs, and also put into work. So that's how my whole thing was. That's how it evolved the business. And it worked sometimes it doesn't work, but most of the time it does work. So you have to take good and bad, ups and downs.
So what are the green technologies you're working in? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
What happened during COVID, I was in India on a vacation, and then I was and my partner in US, one of my marketing partners, he does a lot of solar. So then I got interested, I saw at my in-laws' house solar panels and stuff like that, and then I saw, and then he said they're saving me electricity and this and that, and so I just tried to explore more, and then I went to Bombay and look at factories and stuff like that. There are a lot of people suffering at that time, so I acquired few companies at that time, and that was struggling. But I always invest in team. It's not about the technology, it's not about whatever I did, I always invest in a team. That is what will take you to the next level. You should look at the team and their potential and invest in the potential, and especially the young kids have a potential here, and they can take you a different level. So we acquired a factory called Spark Solar, and also we opened up another factory called Giga Connect that produces the critical components of the solar panel, which we have a contract from both Adani and Ambani that for next 5 years to buy from us because of our technology. It's a IIT technology that was developed by IIT, and we patented it. We probably will do more of those productions in a free trade zone in Sri Lanka, and we'll see what happens. We still have there's a lot of gap to be filled in that area too.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you also tried your hand in the hotel industry, and you still own some luxury hotels in the US. Is that
right? In the US, there is always not put eggs in all baskets. So I have a dozen clinics and like half a dozen, maybe like 4 or 5 labs. So I always did something on a medical side. So luckily I have a staff that is loyal to me for all it takes is a loyal staff for last 22 years that they're employed with me, and they take care of it. I don't have to do anything. So that helped me go out of box and start doing a little bit more outside the country, and especially within technology, especially after COVID.
Right. And about your hotel industry, your hospitality, are you into that also?
Yeah, I have. That's what I'm saying. I was, I tried. I still have 4 hotels, but right now it doesn't look like I can manage that. So I gave it to gave back to the original management, and we'll still see how to exit out of that hotel. So sometimes things work, sometimes things doesn't work. But you have to. If you don't try it, you would not know. So I would, but you cannot try everything. You have to, first build up things, and then you see where you can put other. If you have an egg, you have to put it under some basket, right? So that's what we did.
Yes. So clearly that you have varied or multifaceted business interests.
Yeah.
But you also have a passion for Formula One car racing.
Yes.
And I've learned that you also have a great collection of cars with you. Why don't you tell us about that?
So back in Saudi, when I used to go as a maybe I was 10-year-old or a little bit less than that. My dad used to have nice cars, and that was a lot of times they were given by the company, and so he was making some project Makkah Medina Car Park, which was miles and miles of road. So I would drive all day on the road, and that's where my passion started for the cars, and it never died. And since then, I bought my first Lamborghini in 2004, and since then I have a lot of hundreds of cars in collection, and I continue. I mean, it did very well, and I used to run dealerships. I mean, I used to invest in kids that ran dealerships. They did a okay job, but it was never about the job. It was about learning the cars and learning what cars have value, and finally we mastered that.
Oh, great. So, and please tell us about your family. Where is your family based? Is it in the US or India? And what do they do? Are they studying?
Well, before even family, I want to talk about my mother.
Yes.
That's why I'm here.
Please
and
go ahead. Yes, sure.
She was instrumental in bringing all the three kids and making them educated. Because imagine if at that time my dad didn't make that frequent visits from Saudi, but still try to do whatever he can. And she was mostly alone and with us. That's what made us very, very independent, because we took care of everything from at very, very young age. We did a lot of constructions. We made houses. We used to collect the rent. We used to even as I've been talking about 13, 14 years old. At that age, we were very, very responsible kids. And except for a little bit of a gap on my studies, not really gap, but again, not much of an interest. As a first child, a little bit tampered too, so.
And
so my mom, she was very, very consistent, very strong, and she was inspiration for a lot of people in our family too. They after they looked at what we do. It's like a role model for other people in the family too. So one person, and even though she was raised in a village, but my father moved, but they didn't put a lot of education. They did some basic education, but she wasn't educated fully. So she used to actually read the books and teach us, at an early age. Alhamdulillah. And she was always, we listened to her. Even I remember getting married, and they showed us this girl, and want me to tell the next day we would want, so I just listened to my mom, and it changed my life. I mean, so I'm very grateful, alhamdulillah. And I took her, I kept with me my mom for 22 years in Chicago, and she was very happy. A year ago, I brought her because she was feeling sick and not eating well. I kept in Hyderabad. I made a beautiful house for her. Again, she lived not even a year, and last Ramadan on the 23rd, she passed away. And one of the things I always listened to Israr Ahmad, and he always used to tell about the parents and the values of the parents. And I always, one thing always stuck in my mind was, if your kids cannot make janazah prayer for your parents, then what kind of kids they are, whatever they learn. So alhamdulillah, I get to make janazah prayer for both my parents, and I did everything with my hand, even the burial. So that is the best feeling I would want at my age, at people who are listening. I think you should. I mean, that didn't happen by chance, and every day of my life I prayed for my parents, and then that Allah gave me that chance, and that's the most satisfying thing I ever did in my life.
Yeah. And what about your children?
My children, alhamdulillah, I'm blessed with 8 children. And actually, when they were flying, they travel a lot, but mostly they come to India. I bring them to India every year for at least 6 to 7 weeks, because I want them to learn where we came from, what our culture is, and I don't want them to be in the bubble. And this is kind of advice for everybody in my position who have kids growing up. And they make them really, really smart. and I never insisted them to study or do anything. But alhamdulillah, if I can, my first daughter, she did 2 majors from Kelly School of Business, one of the best business schools in US. Then she was working with Deloitte. She controlled Deloitte office from India, Hyderabad branch, and she got accepted by PricewaterhouseCoopers. And the dean of Harvard, he actually interviewed her, and he wanted her to come to Harvard. She might go to University of Chicago, so I don't know, but still, she's making a couple $100,000, I think. I don't know, something like that. But it's not about the money. She's only 24 years old. The other one is went to medical school. She had a 5.9 GPA, one of the best you can ever get, and she was accepted in every medical school she applied. And again, she went to Mount Sinai, one of the 3rd best school or something. The 3rd one is doing some human rights in one of the best human rights place, and the 4th one just got into Ivy League, Engineering, University of Illinois, I think 3rd best or something like that.
Right.
But again, I'm telling you, I've never told my kids to study, do anything, and they drive a $1,500 car, I drive $2-4 million cars, and they never look at my car, and they never look at my money, they never look at anything, they never ask me anything. Alhamdulillah, that's how I raised them, and I'm proud of it. One of my biggest assets is my kids. It's not my money, it's not my car, whatever I have. It's the kids that will take you to Jannah, or that will take you to Jahannam. It's your kids again.
Right. So great. You invite these values in your family, and the fact that you want them to be connected to the roots, you bring them to India, is also remarkable, because children often tend to get disconnected while staying in the US.
They don't even want to come to India.
Yes. So that is really good. And now I would like to ask you, who would you attribute your success to?
I would attribute to a lot of women that are in my family. That the first, number one and only one, is my mom, and number two, I would think I'm blessed with a very good wife. That she never gave me any headache, and then I was blessed with 3 girls in the beginning, and every time Allah gave me a risk with the girls, and again, and then I had a very, very good employee, a female employee, that actually I was working with a Jewish company, and for my first job, I never worked for anybody anyways. For a year I just was doing trial, and she actually, when I left them, she actually followed me. She said, you're the only person who treated me nice and very respectful. And she followed me, and to this day she works, and I think one of the reasons I made a lot of money without working much is because of her, because she runs the whole business. And she runs a dozen clinic in Dallas right now, and 3-4 labs and everything. So that's why I can move on to different things.
And if I heard it right, you said you worked for a Jewish company, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what tips would you like to give to the young generation interested, those who are interested in medicine and business both?
Yeah, even if it's medicine or engineering or business. So I would say get the best out of it, of whatever profession. Even if it's India, even if you want to get IIT level or whatever, that way you are at least something. Because there's a lot of competition, or you should go to a good university. Nowadays I'm seeing a trend that people are just going to US just because to US they're not focusing on education, and I'm not getting any jobs.
Right.
And because the jobs are very hard in IT these days, and I would want them to do the thing is to do whatever they like to do, and they can excel it, and they can always get a job. If you do something just because it's available, you'll never be successful, never like it, and never have a job.
Right.
So.
And one last question. What is your net worth today?
Net worth, I really don't count the money, but I don't know. I have maybe $120 million in cars, and maybe another $20-30 million in the house and other things. So That is in US. But again, the network is much, much more. It's not about the money. My stocks are doing very well. We had stocks in Nasdaq. We have few stocks coming in Ceylon market, and we have a couple of IPOs that we'll be launching in Bombay Stock Exchange. So it's about then the company we just build up for making the parts. We have Ambani and interested in it, and we invested 100 crores. They probably take it to a different level, maybe a couple thousand crores we can make.
Inshallah. Naveed Saab, thank you for joining us for this discussion. It was truly very enjoyable. And
I just want to get the message out for the young kids, for middle age, for every age, and those parents who are raising the kids, and things that is very important. In India, I've seen a trend that your kid is looking at your money. And I think that is not the right way. Your kid should never look at, he should build his own. And that kind of shoulder, you have to take it off. You should never give your kids, you want them to grow independently.
Right. Thank you so much. Mushtaq Hussein's journey is truly phenomenal and inspiring for youths who despair and failures. His story shows that if one is determined, principled and ambitious, sky is the limit. It truly inspires us all. That's all we have this week. We'll be back soon with another interesting episode. Till then, goodbye from the Matrix team.